Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to a video. Another paid request. This time for Lord Dragur. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Godzilla Minus One, a 2023 film that got a lot of praise. A lot of people quite enjoyed. And it's one of those things that, whether people like the film or not, I always go in with a bit of trepidation because I have a very different taste in movies compared to a lot of people. I can admit that. But it's still my own taste. And I always thought the title of the film really sounded stupid. Like Godzilla Minus One. Like, why? Like, if it was called Godzilla Ground Zero or something like that, I would. They sound a bit better. But I don't know, Godzilla Minus One I still think is one of the worst Godzilla titles ever. But I will admit, watching the film, it was rather good. I enjoyed this movie. If I did my top 10 list of 2023, I would put this on there. I don't know where, but I would put this on the top 10 list. It was a rather good. I would say it's the best Godzilla film I've seen in quite a while. Probably since. Like GMK Godzilla. Well, Godzilla. Actually, after that wasn't after GMK Godzilla Final Wars, but of that era, definitely one of the better ones because I like this a lot more than Shin Godzilla. More like shit Godzilla to me. I like this definitely much more than Godzilla 2014 or Godzilla King of the Monsters or Godzilla vs. Kong. The reason being, I thought it had a rather good emotional story at the heart of it. Because that's one of the problems with. I like a lot of Godzilla films, but let's be honest, a lot of them don't really care about the human stuff. Maybe you can enjoy it in a charming way. Like if I watch Godzilla, like I love Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, versus Megalon, Son of Godzilla. Because the human stuff is goofy or silly or charming, and then you have the fun Godzilla action put into it. GMK, that definitely you felt a bit more of Godzilla's wrath, and I had a little bit of like a horror vibe at times, especially with Godzilla himself looking like a deadite with the eyes and stuff. But this one, like I said, it had a good story and nicely developed characters, especially the lead guy. Because I thought the setup was actually a pretty good setup for the story. It takes place near the end of World War II, about 1945, and our lead guy was a kamikaze pilot. But he was a kamikaze pilot that could not go through his duty, as in, he wanted to live. Which is perfectly understandable. We all want to live. So he could commit to that. He faked and lied and said his plane was broken. When he lands, people are like, this plane isn't broken. What are we talking about? What you talking about, Willis? And he tells this technician guy. And then soon after, Godzilla appears. Who is... This is Godzilla before his atomic breath type of way. He's more of a giant, like, sea monster. And I will say, at times, the CGI isn't the greatest. At times, it's pretty decent. I would say the CG at times was 50-50. I still miss the days of just Godzilla in a suit. And I'm sure it would have been a lot tougher to try to do that with the stuff it does in this movie, but it still, in a weird way, still looks unnatural to see Godzilla not be a guy in a suit. Maybe I'm just so used to that. So again, I do think again, some of the CGI Godzilla looks off, in especially the early parts of the movie. But then at other points, it's more than serviceable. And the design of Godzilla, I don't mind. One thing in particular I like, which I'll get into later, what they do with his spikes. They might have done this in other Godzilla. I'll just say it now. When he does get more of the atomic breath style, I don't know if another Godzilla film has done this. If it did, I forgot. But I liked how when he's charging up, the spikes kind of elongate each time as it's going up, as if like pumping a shotgun or like loading each bullet as each spike. So I just like that. Like each spike in his back pops up as the blue glow goes up, like revving up. I thought that was really cool to see each of the spikes do that. I had not, at least I don't remember one doing that. Again, if so, I don't remember, but I thought that was cool to see. But anyway, it was also interesting to see a Godzilla early on that would like bite people and grab them and throw them. Now you don't see gore or anything. It's not that kind of movie, but it's like grabs people in its mouth and throwing them. That's not something you typically see, but that was, I see something a bit different. So this guy has another opportunity to man up, but he's scared. And we know this gun ain't gonna do shit to Godzilla. We know it, but he doesn't know it. But he's too scared, so he runs off, and then these other people, they get scared and fire. So I'm thinking, well, that guy did the smart thing. You should have learned from him. But as time goes on, he lives. He's one of the few survivors, and he has survivor's guilt. He goes back home. This is after the bombs that won the World War II. He finds out that his parents are dead. He finds this woman and this baby, and they kind of move in with him. And none of them are related to each other, but they kind of stick together. Time goes on. He gets a job working with these three other guys on this boat to sweep for mines. Because after World War II, there's a lot of mines in the water that the Navy had left there. So their job was to go out, get the mines. I kind of wish we had more of that. I wish more of the movie was centered on these guys' jobs to sweep for mines. That's such a novel approach to take for a Godzilla movie. And that's my favorite scene in the movie. And the director admits this is an ode to Jaws. Is this whole bit where at first they're kind of teaching this guy what we're doing, and we gotta cut the cord, and the mine goes up, and then we gotta shoot it. And our lead guy knows how to shoot it well, so he's gonna be the gunner. Now, by this point, Godzilla is still around, but after the bomb, he's more atomic. And that's another thing I did like about the movie, is that the director, you could tell the director put his heart into this, and he gave his shit. With this, just the way certain scenes are shot, like this bit where you see like a close up of Godzilla's eye, and then you see the bomb, and see like the blast pass over, so the eye becomes much more discolored. Same with the steels, to show that he's got this atomic overcast, now showcasing the big G man. So like that shot I thought was really cool to see. And like I said, there's a bit where they have to give time for this bigger ship to come by and maybe destroy the thing. So to me, the best scene of the movie is they're on a boat and Godzilla's coming after them, and they're like dropping mines and shooting at Godzilla, and it gets lodged in Godzilla's mouth. Totally an ode to Jaws, and the guy our lead shoots and blows up the mine and fucks up Godzilla for a bit. And we see it to regenerate, kind of like Wolverine. I mean, I'm not sure about the regeneration thing, if I like that. I mean, I get that it's to make Godzilla more of a threat. But I don't know about the regenerating like he's Wolverine. I don't know if I like that idea. I get that it's a, well, how could he survive all these blasts if he doesn't do that? I get that. I just assumed he was just fucking tough. His skin was just fucking tough, not that just kept regenerating. Is that the first one to do that? I mean, hell, GMK at the end, you had his heart start beating. And oh shit, here we go again. But I'm kind of 50-50 on the regenerating thing. Just like they blow a piece of his mouth off and he regenerates it back. But it does make the threat a bit more palpable, like how the hell can we stop this thing? I'll give you that. But yeah, the movie, the director had some nice standout scenes that give more of that emotional palette to really get to make a statement, so to speak. What I mean by that is, for example, a bigger boat that helps our lead characters. Godzilla attacks it, and then they're firing back, and things seem fine, and Godzilla's in the water. But then you see this blue glow underneath the boat, and we know what's going to happen. And then we see it blast up and just blow up the boat. Just granted, I wish more practical effects were done and utilized models, explosions of models. Because they just look more real to me. Damn it. You know, so there is a lot of CGI used. But I guess that's just the thing with the movie and its budget. But granted, the other Godzilla films all of old didn't have much for budgets either. But I will say I do wish there was a bit more practical used. But, you know, it is what it is. But I still thought it was a pretty neat looking shot. Same with like Godzilla's wrecking the city. And then when it's charging up and the scales pop up and it does this turn and this blast to the city, and it showcases just how deadly its power is. Just how maximum this blast is. Like just like you get to feel how it just took out most of the fucking city with this blast. Like this movie does a good job showing the destructive power of Godzilla. And it really does make him a threat in the movie. So I do think they did a nice job with that. And I said the emotional moments, whether it be the guy telling the girl about his survivor's guilt and, you know, my war's not over. I'm like, sound like Rambo for a second there. My war's not over. And I thought the lead guy gave a nice emotional performance. I thought the girl, the character Doriko, that lady did a pretty good job. I thought the little girl, who's in a way, their daughter, she was cute, not annoying, not irritating or anything. The guys who were his cohorts on the boat, didn't mind them. Yeah, an older guy that they called Doc. Not Doc Brown, but no, Doc. Yeah, this other guy was a little bit more abrasive, but thankfully not too much of an asshole. And then you have the younger guy that's ready for a fight, who doesn't really know as much of the world as he thinks he does. Didn't mind those characters. That's why I kind of wish we could have seen more of them on the boat. Maybe other excursions, other close calls with Godzilla. Granted, I know that'd be a bit too much like Jaws, to be fair, even more like Jaws, but I kind of now want to see a full movie of Godzilla Jaws type of combination. But obviously, again, I know if they did that, it'd be too much of a rip off of Jaws. What was it? The one thing I wanted to mention? Oh, the music. That was a nice touch that they do use some of the old Godzilla music in certain spots. There's a bit where Godzilla's attacked the city and he grabs his train in its mouth, and they're using that, that classic Godzilla music. That was nice. They also use a bit of it at the finale of the film when they're trying to make their plan come to fruition. And I didn't mind the plan as well. Again, at least it felt a bit different compared to other Godzilla movies, where the plan is either to do this thing to make them sink to the bottom, or plan B to bring them back up quick and decompression take a toll on Godzilla. I thought that the lead guy had a nice arc to him, which is not something you say for every Godzilla movie. And again, that's what made the film work, is that when Godzilla's not on screen, you have to give a fuck. And the movie did make me give a fuck, because I liked the lead guy, and I could feel for his survivor's guilt, and felt bad for him, and understood his motivations and his fear, and he gets back in the plane once again to lure Godzilla into this plan being executed. He's flying by Godzilla and have these close calls and shooting at him. Nice rousing moments. This guy alone facing Godzilla in his plane. That was nice to see. Like I said, I wish we could have seen a bit more with those guys sweeping mines on the boat. A little bit more of that. Because I thought that was, again, nice, different take on the whole thing. I do wish they have this technician that we see at the beginning of the movie, and then he comes back near the end of the movie. I wish that guy maybe could have been developed a bit more, because he kind of comes back into play, which seems like he still hates our lead character, which is what happened at the beginning. I thought his kind of turn, getting more into spoilers from here on out, his turn is kind of forgiving the lead guy almost kind of came out of nowhere. He's fixing the plane, all of a sudden, yeah, I forgive you. I don't know, maybe there was a bit more to it. I mean, there is some to it. It's, the lead guy having some words, and he has this picture that the girl made for him to show him and the others. So a great idea. You don't want to have like this 10-minute Lifetime channel dialogue between each other. But I don't know, I just want a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe an extra scene or two. Uh, Maybe just an extra scene or two of that technician guy. Just come to terms and realizing that, hey, this lead guy ain't too bad of a guy as I thought he was. Like I said, there's a part of me that wishes at times there's a little bit more practical effects, but again, maybe that's just the thing, is that you just not going to. I just, with this movie, they just figured there's just no way we could do it with the things we wanted it to do. Which I can understand to a point, because again, there is some nice looking shots with Godzilla. Again, the show is destructive nature. I do appreciate that. And again, this isn't spoilers. I do like the way they killed Godzilla. Our lead guy, the plan is working the best, and then they bring Godzilla up, and I guess he's hurt a little bit. But then our lead guy gives the final blow where he kamikaze plane right into the mouth, but he jets in the last minute and blows it up in the Godzilla's mouth. In a way, blowing Godzilla's head up. Because he lands the plane in Godzilla's mouth, he jets nick of time, big explosion. I guess because the Godzilla was ready to blow his atomic breath, it kind of bits of it comes out of Godzilla's body, and then his body just crumbles. And like I said, the CGI at times iffy. You know, again, I think when it's chasing the people in the boat, and like the mine gets in the mouth, that stuff looked pretty good. There might have been even some practical in there. There might have been. If not, again, not every shot works, but you know, it wasn't a total shit fest either. And I do like the way it ends. You know, you do this nice motif where, okay, typically, yeah, he's finally going to do his kamikaze mission. He's not, you know, I should have died back then. I'm coming to see you. You know, does his Randy Quaid from Independence Day. But no, he's able to eject and work out fine and dandy. Which I'm trying to remember, in Independence Day, I know he couldn't shoot the missile, but could he have moved the plane to the thing and then eject and parachute down? Never really thought about that. I don't know. Maybe if I ever see Independence Day, you know, I'll pay attention if he could just ejected out of that or not. But anyway. And then you earlier you think that the girl Noriko is dead, but she's not. So it's a nice little happy ending. I do like the last line. Is your war finally over? And he breaks down, cries, and glad that she's alive, and you know their daughter is there. That's a nice emotional payoff to the movie. So again, like little negatives, like I said, I mentioned the CGI could be iffy at times. The planning, like a chunk of the third act is the planning stages. So it does slow down a bit when they're kind of just talking, going over the plan. Not extensively, but you know, a decent amount. Get things set up. Maybe part of me is like, okay, I know this plan's not going to really work out like they think, so kind of just wait for this plan's part to wrap up. So, of course, it doesn't work out as it should. But like I said, I could see why people enjoy this. I could see why people got a kick out of this. There are some pretty nice looking action set pieces. Or moments, I should say. Not pieces, but moments. Like I said, they did a nice job showcasing Godzilla being a force of nature in this. The human portion of it at least had a nice setup, initial setup, and good emotional core throughout the rest of the picture. Had a nice satisfying ending that didn't feel too downbeat or too depressing. That is actually... There's nothing wrong with wanting to live. You shouldn't have to punish yourself over it. And again, you understand the lead guy's point of view, and you do... Does a good job making us feel sorry for that character. Overall, like I see here some of the early pieces of Godzilla music spliced in a couple times in there. And of course, at the last shot remind me a bit too much of GMK. Does the last shot of GMK is a heart beating, but in this case, in the water, here it's another piece of anatomy of Godzilla, giving a hint of maybe he'll come back. I don't think that was needed, and like I said, Just remind me a bit of what I saw in GMT, aka Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Out Attack. Another shitty title, but that's why we call it just GMK. But overall, this was a good one. I liked it. It would have been in my top 10. I don't know which placement it would be, but it would be in there. So, yeah, I would say if you like Godzilla, you probably have seen this already. But if not, it's definitely worth a look. Definitely worth a look. Like, it's a shame that the recent American ones, who have a lot more money than this one, shit the bed, in my opinion. And this one, its heart's in the right place. And I think that's why it got a lot of good notices. Because a lot of people felt the same way and they could see that as well. So, very nice. Very nice. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.